Hi guys, Spiner here. I just quickly want to update my tier list for 3.0 patch. I think there's a lot of change after the new patch just because of the new path and everything. And the game modes are also favoring a lot of AoE units, so you might see them really doing well. So nothing too much. Most of the units will be considering with E0 S0, no signatures. So yeah, let's get into it. And I already have placed every single unit, so we don't have to waste too much time, and let's get into it. And that's D and C tier. I'm not going to talk too much about them. You can build them, but I just don't think it's worth your precious amount of time and energy to invest on them. So yeah, at B tier, I think the only surprise is probably going to be Silver Wolf. Why is Silver Wolf there? She's like one of the best debuffs, right? I just don't think there's a team that can use her right now, just because she is a single target debuffer, and the current the current endgame is just favoring AoE too much, and I just cannot find a reason to use her. Literally, even on a Akron team and even on Direction team, it's just not worth it. And Seal and Blade, I just think that their damage is pretty low, unless you use some of the best units with some really good, speed tuning. I just don't think it's that worth, especially if you don't have high relic quality. I think if you don't have high quality relics, these units will struggle really bad. Bio links, one has healing, one has cleanse, so they're there. Jeopard is there mainly because he doesn't have resistance too much. So yeah, at A tier, I think the only surprise is probably going to be Fuged 1. I think the main reason I put Fuged 1 on the A tier is because there's too much AoE. She cannot sustain very well at the current moment. If there's an enemy with just a single target, she's gonna do fine. But the current endgame has way too much AoE, and even the new boss, the Titan guy, he just destroys Fuge One. He just shreds through her way fast. And I'm just gonna be honest, she just struggles pretty hard, even harder than Locha in my opinion. So that's the main reason she's there. And her crit rate buff is not that crazy anymore because there's so many supports that give crit rate buffs. Even there are relic sets that give 30 plus crit rate right now. So I just don't think she's that crazy of a worth. And another big surprise probably gonna be Kafka. Main reason Kafka's on the A tier is just because she's bad. Dot is bad, she's bad, and she's struggling, so she's on the A tier. Argenti, I think I was gonna put Argent in B tier, but then I was like, the pure fiction is actually getting hard, and I think he's one of the better dedicated pure fiction units. Plus, he's also doing pretty decent on the current F2p, so I think he's pretty solid. So he's gonna be A tier. Jingliu ratio, nothing crazy. It's just they're not that crazy in my opinion. They do their job. If you build them properly and if you give them the right units, they will do great. Serval is there because of the Herda, mini Herda, and Serval are doing pretty well just because of her addition. By the way, I think Gunafin is slightly better than freaking Silver Wolf just because of her AoE debuff abilities. And plus, you can also use Gwyneth at Super Break DPS. So yeah. Moving into S tier, I think the biggest surprise is probably gonna be why is freaking Sparkle there. I don't know. I just couldn't find a place for her to put. I don't think Sparkle is an A tier unit, so I still think she's like S tier, maybe probably like bottom S tier. But this is not in any order or anything, okay? So you don't have to be like, oh man, Sparkle should be bottom of S tier. It's not in order. I just put them where I think it looked cool. Like I arranged them really well, so I just placed them, okay? So talking, I think Pella is I think it's the second best option for E0 Akron, so she's gonna be there. Plus her AoE debuffs are really good on the current meta just because there's so many AoE units. 4-star Tignon is mainly there because of her energy value. And even though there's a lot of units that need energy requirements, and I think Tignon is gonna be your second best option after Sunday, so and I still think she has pretty good value, and she has some really good teams that she can go into. So I was like, you know what, she's at least deserves to be on S tier. I think she has more use than Kafka at the moment. So yeah, Jingyuan is so much better, especially after Sunday debut. I think Jingyuan's doing really good, especially in the end games. They're all AoE favors, so Jingyuan actually does really decent. I'm not saying he's the best, but he does decent, and I think he's S tier easily. Himeko is Himeko. You can use her as break DPS, or you can just use her with the normal. She does her job. As long as there's fire weakness and as long as it's AoE, Himeko is going to be doing really good. Either break or either crit, she's going to do fine. Gallagher symbol, he's going to be best in slot. Second best option for break teams, and he heals. He keeps your team alive. Plus, he's also a pretty decent unit for F2p the Herda team. So He's there. Topaz mainly there for S tier just because of the face out team, follow up teams. I think she's decent, but I don't think she's that high, especially at E00. If you can get one of her idol ones, or if you can get her Lycon, I think it's slightly better, but I think she's solid. It's just you can have a better replacement, right? I think Hunt March, and Mosey does her job. Maybe not at the same level as her, but they can do the job. HMC's main reason HMC is here is just because there is a new path, and the new path is just straight out broken. Remember, SMC is just straight out broken. Okay, that's the main reason my HMC is down. Plus, I think Fugue is just better than her. Come on, it's a limited unit, so yeah. Dangang, I think Dangang is just there because the current endgame is slightly good for him just because there's imaginary units and he does pretty decent to Sting and the Epoch, so. But he's garbage on PF, okay? I think he's absolutely useless on PF, but the other games he does decent. I'm not gonna say he's the best, but he does decent and he's there. Plus, I think Sundays kind of work well with him too. I'm not sure about Sunday on him, but I think it's pretty decent, so yeah. March is there again for follow-up teams, nothing crazy. Jade is simple, I think pure efficient, she's like one of the better pure efficient units. Plus, I think she's like currently the best in slot, second erudition option for the Herda team, so yeah. Hanabi is Hanabi, I just don't know what team to say. I think the best team she can offer is Danghang team, and she's only there in the S tier just because she's a Harmony unit, okay. Yunli, I think Yunli is simple. If the enemy has high frequency of attack, Yunli is going to be God tier, but if they don't, well, she's going to struggle. But currently, the enemies do have high frequency and she does decent. Plus, I think she's like multiversal, like you can use her on any game, so yeah. Black Swan is Black Swan. I think Black Swan is way better than Kafka currently. I think it's like she can be used on multiple teams. Even though Dodge struggles, Black Swan is kind of keeping it alive, in my opinion, with the her abilities. Plus, you can kind of use her on Akron team. I'm not going to recommend it, but it's kind of decent, but not at the same time. But I think she's slightly better, okay? I think she's like one of the worst units. I mean, not the worst units. I think she's like probably like the last unit you want to pull, but she's still solid. But yeah, she's there. Bronya is Bronya. She's a free unit. If you can get her. I mean, not a free unit. What's this? She's a standard 5-star, pretty solid. Has some really good teams. Works. I think she's currently better than freaking. What's her name? Hanabi? Sparkle. Why was I Hanabi? Okay, now I'm talking about the new DPS, new Lightning DPS, Lightning Remembrance unit, Aglaya, pretty solid, blast damage dealer, high speed. So if you guys don't know how she works, she simply works off speed. The higher the speed she has, the more damage she does. So she scales off speed pretty well. Simply, she's gonna replace Jinyuan most of the time because they both do the same teams, and she does a lot of damage. Plus, she has, I think, the main reason she's down below is her F2p options are pretty bad. Especially when it comes to her Lycon, she doesn't have that many Lycon options outside her signature. Plus, I think her E1 is one of the most broken E1s for a DPS. So if you get her E1, she's like really strong. So if you guys want to invest a little bit, And outside F2p option, she doesn't have any F2p Lycon options beside the 3-star Lycon. Otherwise, you have to buy the Battle Pass one, or you had to get lucky with, the other 4-star Remembrance Lycon. So no Lycon options, a little bit sad, but she has pretty good damage, and I think speed scaling is pretty new thing, so yeah, I guess she's decent still. Plus, I think she drops tomorrow, so yeah. Now, S+, Fugue. Fugue is there because of Super Break. Super Break is still really, really strong, even after they nerfed it slightly by adding some, enemies that can do really good into them. But I still think Super Break is still broken. And I still think Fugue is really strong, especially with the episode toughness and with the certain DPS. She goes boom, and she's kind of valuable for break teams. So if you don't care about break teams, she's bad. But if you care about break teams, she's like a must-have. So yeah, especially after the new MC path. Jiaochu simple. He's the best in slot for Akron, and if you want her to work, you need him. Without him, she's not gonna work. Just that simple. So if you don't have Jiaochu, Akron is like probably B tier or A tier. Like she's just that bad, okay? But if you have him, she works. So, and Akron is, in my opinion, one of the better units that can clear all the end game. So, yeah. New MC path, RMC, Remembrance Empty, broken. That's all I'm gonna say. The true damage mechanism is really, really cracked. HP scaling, support, she's like one of the few first HP scaling supports we had. So, pretty decent. And I think true damage, I don't know much about true damage, how it works, but it's broken. And yeah, if you guys want to know more about true damage, just look into the YouTube and you will find a lot of videos. But it's just broken, and he's also one of the best in slot for the Herda. So yeah. Firefly is arguably one of the more easiest DPS to build. I mean, all the break DPS are easy to build. They're pretty cheap. I mean, you don't need high investments to make them work. She's consistent. She's not going to do million damage, but she's going to do 300 to 400 damage consistently on a break team. Plus, she can apply fire weakness, so she can brute force a little bit better than some of the other units. So yeah, she's solid. She's a plus. She's solid. Okay. Now boot heal. Boot is simple. You don't need to look into purification. He's not going to be useful on purification. APOC and MOC where he shines. And I mean, he shines means he's going to destroy the both modes. Especially APOC. He's going to one-shot some of the bosses in APOC easily. In MOC, he does really good as long as you speed tune the team and as long as you have Fugue. If you don't have a Fugue, he will take a little bit more time to ramp up. But with Fugue, he's a monster. He's a monster. I mean, a monster. You can do something like 800 to 900k damage with one single bullet, so pretty strong unit. Acheron, like I said, Acheron is really versatile. You can use it on all the end game as long as you have this guy. So that's simple. If you don't have Joshua, he's gonna struggle. I mean, she's gonna struggle. Feisha. Now Feisha is a little bit controversial just because why she's here on the S plus rather than above. Maybe on the doubles here. Main reason is simple: AOV. Acheron does very good into AOV scenario. That's the reason why. But the main reason she's here is because her team as a follow-up team is really strong. But as E0 S0 without her signature, she loses a lot of damage. She is a DPS that relies on signature. I mean signature. She needs signature. Without her signature, if you use Adventuring and Topaz, she's gonna do something like with Robin. She's gonna do something like 400k damage. If you have signature, she's gonna do something like 600 to 700k damage. It's just that crazy. She's gonna miss out so much damage because she doesn't have the signature. And I think follow up as a team, I think their vertical investment is really good. So if you wanna invest on follow up team, I think it's really good. But currently, the game mode is favoring AOV a lot, and I think Feisha is slightly struggling. And Hua, no. Energy regen, supports, heals, cleanse, she has everything, and I think she's solid. So yeah, she's gonna be on the S plus tier. So special tier. Okay, I'm gonna talk about special tier later and who I think are special units. But SS, the best units you can have. I think of course last Adventuring. Now Adventuring, I was thinking of putting him on the S plus tier, but I still think he's kind of solid. Some of the end game mobs have some high crazy damage, and I still think follow-up is still one of the better archetypes. It's not flashy, but it's cool, and I think it still works. Even though Adventure still has a bug going around where I think his shield is inconsistent as hell, I think it's still solid. He's solid. He's also second best choice for Herda team, so yeah. Talking about the Herda, the new unit, strong as hell. And you need to know, this is Herda without her best in slot support or best in slot second support. So she's doing all this crazy damage without her best team, just to be clarified. So she's only gonna get stronger on the future, and yeah, pretty nasty unit. Pretty easy to build too. By the way, just tell me in the comments if you use speed boots or attack boots on Herda, because I'm actually really curious. Because on my Herda, I use attack boot and it does really well. I think speed boots is a little bit inconsistent, and I have to basic attack a little bit, and I'm a little bit, I don't know, just tell me what kind of boots you use on the Herda. Rappa simple. She's a beast in all the 3 game modes, just because it's literally AoV. Like Pure Fiction is AoV, MOC is AoV, freaking APOC is AoV. And if the enemy has imaginary weakness, it's GG, it's game over. But even if they don't have imaginary weakness, if they have fire weakness or if they have anything, as long as you have Fugue, she is monster. She can do easily 2 million damage, plus she's easier to build than the Herda. Like, she's a break unit. Break units are arguably easier to build than a crit DPS in my opinion. The relic investment is really cheap for Rappa, and I think she is just a monster. As long as you have Fugue, she works. And Ruame, I think Ruame is. But I think Fugue is slightly more important for Rappa in my opinion, rather than Ruame. But if you have Ruame and Fugue, yeah, she's a monster. So yeah. Robin is Robin. I'm not gonna talk too much. It's just Robin. Her ult is broken. She, giving a whole team action advance is still broken, so she's there. Ruame is Ruame. Not gonna talk too much. I mean, her base kit has 24 effect rust, has breakthrough efficiency, has speed increase for the whole team, and also has some damage boost. So, yeah. And Sunday is good because it's Sunday. I mean, we all know harmony units are broken, and because the new Remembrance path is gonna have Memo Sprite. Simply, Memo Sprites are literally summon, so as long as they have a summon, Sunday is gonna be their best in slot. But the crazy thing about Sunday is Sunday gives so much crit rate and crit damage and action advance. He's automatically broken for any hyper carry unit just because of his crazy amount of stat boost he gives. But on top of it, there's a Remembrance future unit like Aglaya. He's gonna be the best in slot, and he's gonna be broken. And of course, now you have Lingsha. Lingsha is the best in slot for break teams, and for Herda teams, and for any team that needs healing. She's also decent for Fua teams. And she's just solid. She can heal, she can do damage. She's probably going to be doing more damage in a break team than your DPS. She's crazy for now. And AoE content, she's good. Has AoE cleanse. Yeah, she has everything. She's solid. At least for now, she's the best sustainer in the game. I'm not going to say she's the best unit, but I just going to say that. Now, in my opinion, these are going to be the special units. Two units I think will get better in the next two patches, especially in the next two patches, 3.1 and 3.2. These two units will skyrocket in popularity, especially Sunday. Sunday is going to be best in slot for Aglaya, Maide, and Castorus, the anniversary unit. By the way, Castorus is going to be the 3.2 anniversary unit. I think it's confirmed. Like, they literally showed us the gameplay and everything. She's going to be on the anniversary 100%. And if you guys don't know, Castorus has a Giant Dragon, and Giant Dragon is a Memo Sprite, and if the Memo Sprite is a summon, Sunday is going to be easily going to be her best in slot. So, without Sunday, she's not going to work, I'm sure. So, this man will only get better in the next two patches. He's also pretty good with Maide, so yeah. But I think Maide is like okay-ish. I'm not the biggest fan of Maide's gameplay, but he's there. Now, the Herda symbol, she's going to get the best in slots upward as Tribi next patch, and she's also going to get Anaxa, I presume, is going to be her best in slot erudition unit. I could be wrong, but Tribi is going to be a big buff to her. So, yeah, I think Tribi, just look for Tribi, and you will see even more damage from your DPS. But this is just a future speculation. That's why I'm putting them on a special tier. Not like, oh yeah, they're like must-pull, yay. I think Sunday is like a must-have for the next freaking two DPSs, like two anticipated DPS, like Maide and Castorus. Like, he's like a must-have. Herda's gonna be just getting better she's gonna get two buffs easily. So yeah, so this is my tier list. You guys can have a easy look. I think I'm just gonna put Sunday on the special tier. I think he has more value than Herda just because he's a support. So yeah, supports rule HSR. Okay, so last look at my tier list. And you guys just tell me your opinion on the comment section, because it can also help me a lot, so I can make a better tier list next patch. You guys need to know that the end game is really focusing AoE units. That's why some of the single target units are not doing great. They could do it great. It's just you have to speed tune the team really well. So yeah, so that's it. So if you guys watch the whole video, thank you, and just leave a like. And maybe subscribe, because my throat feels a little bit sour. I'm a little bit sick, but I still made this video just to because I felt like it. So yeah, see you guys on the next video, and bye guys.